Welcome, everyone, to a very frantic doubleheader day. Welcome to ABN's coverage of the Champ Car Challenger Series in the IndyCar National Championship. We'll be covering both the National Championship race here at Nazareth and the Champ Car World Series race in Michigan here today. 27 cars on the grid, some Challenger Series cars in Michigan taking part in the second part of that Triple Crown event. Smaller field, more opportunities for those here in Nazareth. 27 car field to get underway here this afternoon. Welcome everyone to ABN's coverage of the Firestone Champ Car Challenger Series. The Amazon T25 will see its own car lead the field to green. Felicia Zappa pole position. Force Swift Autosport here. Kira Moore alongside on the front row. It's been a tale of three different drivers. Felicia Zappa trying to put her name into that mix. It's been about Aspasia Megalos, who starts 27th and dead last today. Rich Clevenamy trying to secure promotion into the World Series for Arrowhead Racing. And Isabel Lantra. Clevenamy starting 7th. Lantra starting further down the order. Obviously, Megalos starting dead last today. Chance for things to be wide open. It is Zappa and Moore, though, at the front of the field. Isabel Espinoza and Keisha Fox sitting in row number 2. Natalia Kurachenko and Yumina Mizuno sit in row 3. Rachel Clevenamy, the former championship leader, now second in points, starts 7th alongside Maria D'Amata, Maria Chavez, and Katrina Ochoa. It's an all-Escuderia Guia row 5. Rex Riley, Emily Polsatrix, likewise, all Fortune Racing in row 6, ahead of Nara Takurasi and Asada Kito for Verizon Team Impulse. Arashi Seto and Sora Hoshino, Team Sakura's got locked up in row 8. Jake Carter and Roberto Crown Jr., they sit in row 9. Roberto Crown Jr., qualified top 10, 10-place grid penalty for that engine failure in Kentucky, sets him down in the order. Luisa Floros and Katerina Malinkovic sit in row 11. They're behind Karina Sakurauchi and Isabel Lantra, who starts in 20th today. Jace Clark, Dale Blanco, row 12. Karina Amara and Yuya Ishii in row 13. Megalos, obviously, the odd one out in row 14 by herself after having a phenomenal run of form through the last 3 races. Will have to do so from the back of the field here today. Nazareth Speedway is always a special racetrack, and it's always an honor to be able to be here at the Speedway. A little under a mile, 0.946 is a lap around this 3-corner flat oval. We've seen some incredible speeds already since its revival. Champ Car World Series was here earlier this year, back in late May. Now it is the Challenger Series' turn to do something special. Keisha Fox has experience here. Raced in the World Series race last year when it came back onto the calendar. A couple of drivers with that experience as well Espinoza, Maria Chavez, Katrina Ochoa, all in that group. Rex Riley also in that group that have had experience at this racetrack. So it shouldn't be quite a surprise that all of those drivers that we mentioned are in the top 10 at the starting grid. However, the question is, can you hold on to that? Passing is going to be a bit more of a premium here. We've got those primary compound tires, which means that there's a lot of longevity, not a lot of grip compared to what we saw in the World Series races last time out back in May. Should be interesting, though, with how closer these cars are to each other compared to the World Series. We're going to have an absolute slugfest over 225 laps. The question now is, can anyone capitalize on what could be a very frantic race in the National Championship standings? We're about to find out. Again, Megalos, the championship leader, starting 27th and last. Rachel Clevenamy in a good spot, starting 7th. It's 20th for Lantra. Felicia Zappa will lead us to green, but before we get to the racing, let's hit a track side for those most famous words in all of motorsports.
Drivers, start your engines.
Showtime now for the Champ Car Challenger Series, a formation lap behind the Ford Raptor pace truck. And the thunder will come to life in Nazareth. Sold out capacity crowd once again. And we're going to see very similar in Michigan later this afternoon for the World Series. Felicia Zappa looking for a race win, a much needed result, if she can grab it. Felicia Zappa's got a race win already this season, one of the more recent drivers to join the one-win club. Can she become the first two-time winner in the Challenger Series season? Kira Moore wanting to have to say in that, so is Isabel Espinosa and Keisha Fox. The pace truck pulls in as they around the third corner. Green flag flies, and then Amazon 225 is underway. We're racing on Independence Day weekend. And immediately, Isabel Espinosa jumps Kira Moore. Kira Moore falling backwards, trying to hold on to third place ahead of Keisha Fox, who looks set to try to make something happen there in turn number 3, and does. So Moore immediately struggling on the outside lane. It is Zappa that leads lap 1. Another driver trying to make some inroads pretty quickly. That's the 61 of Koivu. They're just behind the 40 car of Natalia Kurachenko. And Koivu does get around the Canadian driver. There's Maria Chavez as well. And then you get all the way to the 23. That's Yumina Mizuno. Kira Moore just falling backwards rapidly in the early onset of this race. Felicia Zappa leading the way, has the clean air, and that has been so pivotal in the conversation. Felicia Zappa leading the way early on. Fastest lap is in the possession of Felicia Zappa at 22.7 second lap. They're a little bit slower than the World Series was here back in May. And that's to be expected, though. Isabel Espinosa staying in touch. Just set her fastest lap and just set the second fastest lap of the race, because Felicia Zappa also picking up the pace. 22.6 now for the Italian driver. 22.707 for Isabel Espinosa. Then you have Keisha Fox struggling a little bit. 22.9 is the best that she's had so far. It is enough to hold up Natalia Kurachenko, who is under threat from the 61 of Koivu. Just inside the top 5, Maria Chavez, also in the 22.6 second bracket. Mizuno struggling, 22.9 for the Japanese driver. Same with Nera Takarasi and Maria D'Amata. 22.8 fastest lap for Karina Sakurauchi, winner from Watkins Glen. Kira Moore, who started this race on the front row, out of the top 10 now entirely in 11th place after the skid finally came to a merciful end. Jake Carter in 12th now, ahead of Luisa Floros. Then you have Jace Clark in 14th. Karina Amara charging forward as much as she possibly can, sitting right now with a 22.6 second lap. New fast lap set by Maria Chavez in 6th. There's Ochoa, who also fell backwards quite a decent amount, but in the 22.6 second bracket. The question is, can those extra 0.3 of a second be enough to make a pass make sense? And we've seen early on that the answer to that question has traditionally been no. You have to wait for traffic to sort of come in and be a factor there. Isabel Lantra's lost 4 spots from 20th to 24th and has not had the pace. Megalos up 2 spots from 27th to 25th. And the reason why is that Rex Riley is already out with an engine failure. So we're already down one car, and we have just passed lap 10. Zappa in control of this race so far. Pit stops will be at a premium, so you don't have a lot of chances to make things right in this race. A lot of pressure behind Natalia Kurachenko with Koivuniemen and Maria Chavez in tow. Koivuniemen now fastest lap of the race, a 22.615. So first and second fastest cars on track on your screen. Koivuniemen and Chavez, very familiar in their battles with each other so far this year. Prior to this year, racing the World Series together, back when Koivuniemen was part of Red Bull Highlight Racing, and when Chavez debuted as part of Velocity Autosport. Chavez going on and getting Rookie of the Year honors in the Indianapolis 500 that year, back in 2021. Kurachenko controlling the pace for those outside the podium places. Fox a little bit more clear by about a second now ahead of Kurachenko. They both have been dispatched by about 2 seconds from Zappa at this point in the contest. Early days though, as we start lap 15 here in Pennsylvania, southeastern Pennsylvania. Two racetracks call it home. Nazareth Speedway and obviously Pocono Raceway, both tracks a storied history in American open wheel racing. The new chapter beginning with Nazareth here. There, Takarasi sitting in 8th place, doing a good job so far. Maria D'Amata in 9th, and Karina Sakurauchi now once again holding station in 10th with the fastest lap of the race. Just 1,000th faster than the 61 of Rachel Koivuniemen. So a phenomenal job by Sakurauchi in traffic to pull out a 22.449. Times continuing to improve a little bit here as tires still get the temperature. Obviously, warm day here, July, never kind, especially on the seaboard when it's so humid as well. A flat track like this, though, you can really sort of play with the optimization and get some extra time out of the car. And you see that to a degree. Even a Mizuno struggling, though. Not really able to get to the rear end of Maria Chavez at the moment, as Koivuniemen tries to pressure the 40 of Kurachenko into a mistake. Starting lap 20, finishing lap 19. Chavez trying to poach on a slight mishap there by Koivuniemen. Not enough to make things happen that go around. And Kurachenko knows she can use all the racetrack in the world at the moment. However, leave the door open too awful long, and Koivuniemen will put her nose in the door and force her way on through. See the stack up here behind Kurachenko, just how frustrating it is trying to make passes happen early on when everyone's got fresh tires. Isabel Espinosa's lost touch to Felicia Zappa to the tune of 1.4 seconds. Felicia Zappa's not set the fastest lap of the race, about a little over a 10th shy on fastest lap pace, but the clean air has made it so much easier for Zappa to just control the tempo and be more consistent in that endeavor. Espinosa trying to close in. Keisha Fox in 3rd. Again, Keisha Fox trying to waltz away, knowing her teammates on the other side of the dam. That is Kurachenko. Short lap times, 23 seconds though. Even at the longest end right now, 23 seconds. You look at someone like Isabel Elantra right now, who's sitting 26th, having lost 2 more spots. She's already half a lap behind in just 25 laps. We're coming to complete lap 24 and start 25 now. Does not spell a lot of good news for Isabel Elantra, who's only had herself in this race. Valerie Fang racing in Michigan later today. They wanted to make sure Fang got a start in the Triple Crown after failing to qualify for the Indianapolis 500 back in May. Some of the cars just around the corner here. That's where Elantra is right now, behind the 09 Asura Hoshino. Obviously, another spot gained for Aspasia Megalos, but right now it's going to be a very easy swing in the favor of Rachel Koivuniemen to regain the national championship lead. Just ahead of Megalos there, that is the 30, that is Katerina Malinkovic, and then Dale Blanco, Roberto Crowd Jr. Yeah, up in 21st there. Yi Ishii up to 20th. The 44 for Yanjian Motorsport, making some headway, slowly but surely. There's the 44 for the Japanese team. Amity Polstrix in 19th place behind Asada Kito. Urashi Seto just ahead there, and then there's Katrina Ochoa. And trouble for the race leader. Felicia Zappa is leading no more. It is now in the hands of Isabel Espinoza. Zappa has come down pit lane and is out with a gearbox failure. Defeat from the hands of Victory. Felicia Zappa will not become a repeat winner in the Challenger Series. Not today. Now it's on the hands of Isabel Espinoza, who could make some history here, be the first person in the modern era to win in both the World Championship and the National Championship. She's a 2-time winner in the Champ Car World Series. She is right now in a really good spot to potentially get her first race win in the Challenger Series here. Keisha Fox sitting second, not even close to Espinoza right now, 2.3 behind as things currently run. Obviously, for everyone that's tuned in for a majority of the season to this point, very familiar that up until this year, we did not have a national championship and a world championship running hand in hand. Prior to this year, it was the Carnegie Cup for the world championship. Sorry, the Carnegie Cup for the national championship back in 1999, which has been revived. The Vanderbilt Cup that was created in 2000 for the world championship. Carnegie Cup revived. For the Challenger Series. Vanderbilt Cup, the newest prize, relatively speaking. Keisha Fox right now sitting in second, has fallen now back right into the clutches of Kurachenko and Koivuniemen. Which is obviously not where you want to be if you're Keisha Fox, knowing that you had a really good chance to just hang in there with Espinoza. Espinoza now pretty well in the clear, still running 22-second lap times, 22.9 for Espinoza, 23.1 for Keisha Fox. So it's a 2/10 drop a lap right now for the Bar Harbor, Maine native. Kurachenko now on the podium, and that makes the fight with Koivuniemen and Chavez even more important, because now you're battling to be on the rostrum here in Nazareth. A lot of these drivers have not raced in Nazareth before. Kurachenko is one of those that have. And that seems like a very interesting line there to be taken. If you are Koivuniemen, that's because you got thrown off the wayside there by Chavez and by Mizuno. Ooh, really good defense in the outside lane. Koivu trying to make Mizuno really work for it here. Out of turn 2. Believe Mizuno's going to have, no, does not have the advantage to hold into turn 3. So only a 1-spot drop there for Koivu after it was a very assuredly that Koivu was going to drop well and truly out of the top 5. Koivu instead holds 5th, ahead of Mizuno, ahead of Takarasi and Damata. It's a really good effort there by Koivu to just recover that. Again, one Arrowhead kart in 2nd, the other right now in 5th and battling for it pretty hard. It is Isabel Espinosa and the Escuria Guillotine. Looking for its first win in 2024. So keep an eye on this battle for realistically 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. A little bit of a gap there between Damata and Sakurauchi, about 0.7 of a second. Anything happens up here, though, Karina Sakurauchi's back in play immediately. About 40 in the books. Felicia Zappa led 25 laps, the first 25 laps uninterrupted. Since then, it's been Isabel Espinosa who's had the clean real estate to try to make work happen. Everyone now has dropped a little bit of time. Everyone now in the 23-second range. Sora Hoshino in pit lane. We'll get a report on what's going on there because that is not a scheduled pit stop for the 09 machine. And the reason why, I believe, is caution being out. So I believe Hoshino has had come to a stop. Yeah, and that's why. Pretty easy to tell there for Sora Hoshino. And that is a car that could not make it all the way back. So attrition, a huge factor in the July heat here. An engine failure early on by Rex Rowley. Sora Hoshino with some sort of mechanical failure here that looks terminal. Felicia Zappa with a gearbox failure, and you see Hoshino trying to get out of the way. Gets down to the grass there on the warm-up lane. And we'll get a report here soon on what's happened to the 09 driver. Pit stops, though, underway here in Nazareth. First time under caution. Everyone taking some tires here. We ran about 40 laps under green. And it is easy come, easy go for Isabel Espinosa. Argentine back out in front. Kurichenko up to 2nd place over Chavez, Koivu. So it's a drop in position for Keisha Fox. And now Kurichenko, this is a gift for Espinosa. Now you know that Kurichenko is the one that is right behind you there in the field. We'll wait for the reset to really kind of clear things up here. Kurichenko 2nd, though. Then it's Maria Chavez, then Rachel Koivu. Keisha Fox in 5th. 6th place, Nara Takarasi. 7th place, Maria Damata. Yumina Mizuno in 8th. 9th place, Karina Sakurauchi. Kira Moore 10th. 11th place, Jake Carter. 12th place, Chase Clark. Luisa Flores will end up in 13th place ahead of Karina Amara. Then it's Katrina Ochoa in 15th. Yuya Ishii 16th place. Then it's 17th, Roberto Crown Jr. 18th, Amity Polsatrix. 19th, Espacio Megalos. Katerina Milinkovic in 20th. 21st, Isabel Antra. 22nd, Dale Blanco. Rashi Seto still in pit lane at the moment. And that's not going to be good for Seto at all. Asada Kito out of this race, as is Sora Hoshino, as things currently run. And If you're Rashi Sato, this is bad news. This is a car still stationary on the racetrack. That is 2 Team Sakura cars affected by this. And that's not good. It seemed like there was some work being done on the electronics end of that 52 car. Now they're beginning to do the service work, so it seems like there was a massive electronics issue, but that car will be able to get going again just a lap down. That's not horrible, though. 4 cars out of this race already, all of them attrition failures. Sora Hoshino out. And it seems like it's due to a radiator issue. Asada Kito out with a clutch failure. So still only 1 engine failure, and that is for Rex Riley, who made it 2 laps in this race. She said it would join the back of the field here. Isabel Espinoza leads the way, and green flag flies. And oh, look at this jump already. Maria Chavez knew what she needed to do. But I think she's going for the race lead. Teammates here, the 26, the 27, the 29, all teammates there for Escuderia Guia. That's Chavez, Espinoza, and Katrina Ochoa. Maria Chavez was not waiting around for the 40 of Kurachenko to figure that out. Kurachenko trying to hold up the 61 of Koivanemi. I don't think it's going to work. I think Koivanemi is going to be in the clear here. It's a matter of if Keisha Fox can as well, and she does. So both Arrowhead cars get through. Looks like one of the Frostfire cars can go through here, and will. And it'll stop just shy at Maria D'Amata. Car coming out of pit lane, that is the other Fortune Racing car, Andy Pulsatrix, who had a black flag to serve and now is a lap down as well. That black flag to serve was speeding, exiting pit lane. And with how quick these laps are here in Nazareth, that is a certain lap down. 22.8 second laps right now being run by the race leaders. Espinoza under pressure from Maria Chavez and Rachel Koivanemi. You want to talk about a needed result here for Escuderia Guia right now. Trying to put 2 cars in the promotion spots. That's top 4 in the championship. Chavez has been the closest one to it. Espinoza needs a reset like this to crawl out of the midfield. Isabel Espinoza has been in the series for quite some time, whether in the World Series or the Challenger Series. Only race wins came in the World Series same year, 2018, for Isabel Espinoza. So it's been a little bit since she's been to victory lane in open wheel competition. Maria Chavez has never been in victory lane in the Champ Car competitions. Right now it is Rachel Koivanemi in third, just shoring up the loose ends right now. Again, as things stand, Koivanemi would return to the top of the championship running order pretty easily. It was a 9-point cap going into this race. Just 9 points between Megalos and Koivanemi. Could be a lot more than that. 35 points right now for Koivanemi in third. Megalos, who started this race in 27th, up to 17th, up 10 spots. That's 13 points. So the turnaround would be pretty significant. Isabel Lantra, who started this race 20th place, is in 18th. So both of those drivers have gained, and they are now stuck together in this fight. As we keep an eye on the 1-2, currently being led by the Escuderia Guia racing duo of Espinoza and Chavez. Espinoza's now led 30 laps in this race, getting us into lap 56. Teammates first, second, as well as third and fourth. Then things mix up a little bit. You see Takarasi in fifth. Kurchenko holding on to sixth place ahead of Maria D'Amata, and they have got a pretty decent separation to Jake Carter, the Crystal Cove Racing driver, sitting right now in eighth place ahead of Karina Sakurauchi and Kira Moore, who's back in the top 10 after falling out of the top 10 very early on in this race. Has found our way back in ahead of James Clark. See, there's Maria D'Amata there, and you look a little bit further back, that's Luisa Floros in the 75. A darker yellow and blue. Trina Amara there, her teammate there for Vasporia Motorsport, or Vasporia Racing Team. Right there in the mix as well. Floros peeks to the inside of Clark. Nothing going there that time around. Ochoa. Just outside, sitting in 14th at the moment. Mizuno in 15th. Then it is Yuya Ishii. Spacio Megalos there in 17th, as we mentioned. Isabel Lantra in 18th ahead of Roberto Crown Jr. Dale Blanco, Katerina Milenkovic, and then the two cars off the lead lap at the moment. They are together battling for 22nd. And it is a lot closer now than it was at the beginning when it was Felicia Zappa at the front of the field. They dispatched Kurchenko on that restart immediately. And it is these four, with Takarasi in a more distant fifth, trying to make the battle for the race win and the rostrum between these four. Looking at Chavez here in the mix. Smack dab in the middle. You remember, don't forget the 57's coming around the corner as well. Nero Takarasi closing in too. Trying to make this a 5-car fight. Kurchenko still in 6th ahead of D'Amata, so there is a pressure valve in this top 10. Sal Espinosa is much more of a game manager here at this point. Whoa, really good send by Koivanemi. What a sniper shot from the Finnish driver. Chavez trying to hold on in the outside lane. What a fight between these two. Koivanemi picked her shot and went for it, and will get clear into turn 3. Now it's about Chavez trying to cover off the 62 of Fox. Koivanemi wants a shot at the race lead. She thinks she's got the pace for it. Chavez will hold on for 3rd. Keisha Fox giving it an honest go. Koivanemi putting her nose right where it needed to be to force Chavez offline. And now Koivanemi in 2nd will try to chase down Isabel Espinosa, who has led 40 laps in this race so far. We've had 2 race leaders. Felicia Zappa led the first 25 laps before retiring with a gearbox failure. Espinosa has led 40 ever since. Talk about passing being at a premium if you're someone like Koivanemi. Passing is a matter of how brave you want to be. Koivanemi did not have a fun time at Kentucky last time out, and is trying to really wash away that result with authority. She's done a good job of beginning that process here in the early goings in Nazareth. Coming around to start lap 69 of 225 here in Pennsylvania. Phenomenal crowd here. Game of chess in this top 5. Takarasi is firmly in the top 5 now. You see her right there at the tail, behind Keisha Fox, who stays in 4th. Kurchenko stays in 6th, ahead of Damata, Jake Carter, Karina Sakurachi, and Kira Moore. Cleveland doing a fantastic job at the moment. Closing in. Fast lap still held by Sakurachi, the Ninth City, California resident. Race winner from Watkins Glen, fast lap so far. Still at that 22.449. No one's touched it since. So Espinoza, the rabbit being chased down by Koivanemi for Arrowhead Racing. The team hoping to have good results across the board. 2 cars here in the Challenger Series with Koivanemi and Fox. 3 cars in the World Series with Alicia Kovalkiewicz, Julia Takani, and Siri Lundqvist. World Series team has not done quite so hot up until recently, with Lundqvist doing a really good job in Denver for first race back. Team trying to keep that momentum going. And for those tuning in, just after this, we go to Michigan for the Champ Car World Series Chevrolet 500. A lot of news is coming out of that weekend there up in Michigan. I see Dodge announcing, and it's very important for the driver centerpiece in the screen right now. Rachel Koivanemi, Arrowhead Racing, becoming the factory Dodge team beginning next year after just 1 year with Toyota. That has been mixed results in the World Series and phenomenal results in the Challenger Series. They'll move to Dodge beginning next year. Same with Fortune Racing. Fortune Racing becoming a customer team there for Dodge. Chevrolet right now, which has been a talk of some controversy, will move to the V4 twin turbocharged engine powertrain. Obviously, Chevrolet not super high up on the order. Kurchenko, whoa! Hold that thought. Keisha Fox. What a dive bomb out of turn 3. Just sent it from a car length and a half back and cleared before turn 1. Caught Chavez napping, and now Arrowhead Racing have 2 of the 3 spots on the podium. That was insane. Arrowhead Racing are on all 4s right now, just sprinting towards the front of the field. As I was mentioning with Chevrolet, Kurchenko, obviously the leading Chevrolet car right now in the field in 6th, but distant. That Chevrolet engine, the current V8 turbo engine that's in that car, the heaviest of the bunch. That'll change next year. Chevrolet moving to a twin turbo V4 power plant, which is even more compact than the inline 4 powertrains that we see with Honda and Toyota. So there's a lot of changes coming on the technical front next year. All that was announced this weekend. Obviously, Detroit, the home of Dodge, the home of Chevrolet, the home of Ford. Motorsport Mecca. It's called the Motor City for a reason up there in Detroit. Not too far away, Michigan International Speedway in the town of Brooklyn. Right in their backyard, Chevrolet getting the sponsor of that event. It'll be very interesting seeing a Chevrolet-sponsored event in a Ford Pace vehicle. Chavez looked to the inside there of Fox. Fox covered the door off pretty well for third to hold on to that. Do we see teammates battle potentially between Fox and Koivu? That would probably not be the most ideal thing on the planet if you are Koivu. Keisha Fox has not had a wonderful season so far, really far down in the points, all things considered. Has been completely outshone by the Finnish driver. In the first year as teammates, Keisha Fox slated to move to the NAMRA Cup Series, the AT&T Cup Series next year for Arrowhead Racing. Results so far this year have not really had much of an argument against her, kind of just being already checked out. This is the first sign of life we've seen from the 62 on a consistent basis this season. Obviously, it is not lost that there are some cars that are just not here as they are racing in Michigan. Seth Smith Jr., one of those cars. Both these Cat Devil Racing cars, and Mia Vitsud and Sonia Walker, not present in this race. None of the Obsidian Racing Team cars, Lucero or Venäläinen, present in this race either. See Valerie Fang for Phoenix Motorsports, also in Michigan right now. So there's a few cars that are not part of this conversation, but Keisha Fox still having an above normal afternoon, all with the season in comparison. Espinosa has led 62 laps in this race so far. You see Koivu has really walked away from Fox a little bit here. Seems to just be doing a little bit better on tires than Espinosa, who was beginning to fall off at the end of the run before that caution came out for Sora Hoshino. Mix 100% on as things stand right now. We've had a lot of different races, a lot of different race winners. We've not had a repeat winner yet in the Challenger Series season. Different race winners so far this season. Obviously, Isabel Launcher opened up the win in Adelaide. Rika Venäläinen won at Phoenix. Rich Koivu, center of your screen, won in Arasaka Arena, won in Night City. Jake Carter won at Fontana. Yuki Ishii won at Sonoma. Katerina Milinkovic won at Indianapolis for the Gamebridge 300. Aspasi Megalos won at New Hampshire. Then it was Karina Sakurauchi who won in Watkins Glen, Karina Amara who won at Charlotte, and then Felicia Zappa winning last time out 2 weeks ago in Kentucky. It's been a wonderfully weird time this year. The amount of new winners we've had in the Challenger Series and the World Series has been of considerable note. Not normal in the slightest. We've not had a season like this, a year like this, really since 2017, 2018. It's been a wild time. Thomas Rogers opened the World Series with 2 wins back-to-back, but it's been a different winner every race since. Do we see the same thing happen in Michigan later on today? Do we have a new winner, or does someone finally break through and get a repeat win? It seems a lot harder to not win multiple times, all things considered. The traditional World Series field's 26 cars. There's 24 races in the World Series. You've got to run out of people that realistically can win races back-to-back. Espinosa controlling the pace as the race leader has brought Covenemi back into the grip of Fox and Chavez. Trying to get Covenemi put under pressure here, because right now is a one-on-one confrontation between Espinosa and Covenemi was not going to fare well for the Argentine. We've already seen what both Arrowhead cars have done to Chavez to get around the 29 car. And not a pleasant time if you are an Escuderia Guia driver at this point. Espinosa, though, continues to lead here and not far away. You see Arashi Seto set to go, potentially a second lap down, struggling behind Del Blanco, who's the last lead lap car in 21st. Katarina Milenkovic in 20th, trying to hold on to Amity Bolsatrix. And then Isabel Lantra, who's down in 19th. Yuji Ishii in 18th place. Roberto Crown Jr. in the 17th spot. Espasi Megalos, another spot gained since the restart, up to 16th. Her teammate, Karina Amara, just ahead of her in 15th place. 14th for Chase Clark. Vanessa Choa, 13th. 12th for Mizuno. 11th for Floros. And then Kira Moore in the top 10 behind Karina Sakurauchi, Jake Carter in 8th, 7th, Maria Damata. Natalia Kurachenko still in the top 5, but the top 7 realistically all going to be close together here in this conversation for the race lead. Coming to complete lap 99 and start lap 100 here in Nazareth. Had one caution for a mechanical failure by Sora Hoshino. Damaged radiator killing the car on the 09 machine. Estada Quito out of this race due to a clutch failure. 4 retirements overall in this race, including Felicia Sapo out with a gearbox and Rex Riley, whose engine let go early on in the competition. Battle for the race lead, still really razor thin between Isabel Espinosa and Rachel Covenemi. It can't get a lot closer right now. Nose to gearbox. Tire wear becoming a bit more of a factor here. This black wall, primary tires. Durable, but slippery, especially in this July heat. And you would have to think that Isabel Espinosa might be in trouble here, especially if Covenemi plays an undercut here on green flag pit stops. If we get to that point, we've not had green flag pit stops yet in this race. Not expecting them for quite a bit still. There's a 2-stop race as things look right now. Covenemi hustling Espinosa, trying to get some more separation here between herself, her teammate Keisha Fox, sitting in 3rd. Del Blanco really struggling now, down almost a lap down, and this is going to be a really good opportunity here in a few laps for Covenemi to use the traffic as a pick to make her way forward. Pace is really slowing down here just a little bit. That's been trying to figure out how to really handle this lap traffic that's coming forward. Traffic is here now for Espinoza and company. 2 cars they got to deal with Seto and Del Blanco. Covenant had to check up a little bit here to deal with the extra dirty air. And that is a huge factor right now. The extra dirty air is an enormous factor, but you saw what the backup did. It allowed Covenant to just charge forward. It's not close enough to make a move there into 1. Espinoza really tight on the exit there. Oh, it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out because Fox looking very game as well. I know Covenant is hoping that Keisha Fox stays back, but Keisha Fox really needs the result. So go poaching. And it's really slowed the field up. 23.6 now, the lap times being set by the leaders. And it's not just a singular car, there's multiple cars in this train that make any attempts at clearing around this miserable. Clarification, this is the best these cars have really felt at a short oval really in years. The package that we have, the aerodynamic package for these cars are so much more adept to handling short ovals and higher downforce situations to minimize some of that dirty air with the ground effects. I remember we used to race at Phoenix prior to the reconfiguration. And it was a nightmare. You could get like where they're at right now, but you couldn't make passes at all. Like you couldn't send it, you couldn't do anything at all. Everyone's able to make passes. You just have to be really precise about how you do it, because if you get it wrong, and there's a higher opportunity that you do get it wrong, because these cars are a handful, especially when you're talking about 800 horsepower. If you get it wrong, you get it very wrong. So you've seen what happens when you get it right. Back with the prior iteration of car, the last car that was made by Dallara up until 2019, we went to New Hampshire, we went to Phoenix, and once you got out of restart or race start territory, it was follow the leader until pit stops, whereas right now you have a chance. We didn't even have this opportunity here. Keisha Fox doing what she had to do there, and it's going to force her teammate out of the top 5. Amy trying to battle with Nara Takarasi, former Indianapolis 500 champion. They'll stay side by side, and it's going to bode well for the Slovenian driver in the 3. And this is absolute nightmare territory for the 61 of Koivanemi, who's just trying at this point just to stay ahead of the 40 out of turn 2, and it looks like that will be the case. Meanwhile, Maria Chavez also struggling to get around the 52 of Seto, so they got around one of those lap cars. And Koivanemi looks like she'll make her way around as well in through turn 2. That'll also open the door for Kurachenko and for D'Amata. But now it's Del Blanco in the way. 21st place, last car on the lead lap. He's going to fight especially hard, given the circumstances. Got around Blanco there. You can see Chavez got stuck behind the 56. But so did 61. So did Koivanami. Espinosa, Fox, and Takarasi now top 3 as we've crossed over. Less than 100 laps to go. Blanco holding up both Chavez and Koivanami. Koivanami out of the podium conversation for now. 101 laps led by Espinosa and counting. Browsing and perusing to the field here. Kurchenko sitting in the 6th spot. D'Amata in 7th still. Jake Carter's gotten around for 8th here. Sakurashi in 9th. Floros up to 10th. Having gotten around, Kiramura with the assist from Del Blanco. So now Moore trying to find a way around. While also staying ahead of Katrina Ochoa. There's Amara. Look to the inside of the 27 as well. Amara making her way forward there. As well as Clark, and there's Mizuno, who at one point was in the top 5 in the conversation. Bad pit stop by Mizuno. Goes right down the order. And you have the island. 18th, 19th, and 20th with Amity Folsetrix there in the middle. 3 cars on an island, the top 5, really all the way down through. Top 8 have all gotten clear with the lap traffic so far. But we know there's a pit stop not far away. Thing is, with that lap traffic doing its work, it closed the gap from 1st to 20th down to less than 12 seconds. Espinosa continues to lead early on, taking over from Felicia Zappa, has now led 112 laps. 113 makes it a very assured half of the race led by the 26. Most laps points, bonus points being very important. Espinosa now has 3 of those bonus points as things sit. Around the start, lap 140 here in Nazareth. Isabel Espinosa has been undeniable so far, but under constant duress, whether it's from the Arrowhead Racing cars of Koivanemi first and now Keisha Fox. Her own teammate Maria Chavez, who's still in 4th, and now Nara Takarasi in the mix. Rossi falling back just a little bit here as this race goes along. Again, pit stops very well needed. We're down to a 1-stop race. The stop that they do for green flag stops will be the last set, at least that are planned for this event. A lot more favorable outlook right now for the 26 of Isabel Espinosa than what it was in the middle portion here, where it seemed like that 26 car was really struggling with tire wear at that point. It seems like Isabel's really gotten the tire wear under control and managed under that car. Keisha Fox, though, will continue to pursue. You do have to ask the question, when does pit stops come into play? Sitting right now, just managing as she has for most of this race at this point, trying to stay ahead of Keisha Fox. Keisha Fox continues to close in a little bit. You see, just kind of watching Keisha Fox here, just trying to play with the air a little bit, trying to get some more air to the front of that car over the front wing, to try to just navigate some of that dirty air and that negative effect traveling behind another car. Pit stops, I think they're underway. I believe that's a car in pit lane. It is. It's Yumina Mizuno. First car in the box, and this would make sense. Does someone else come down pit lane? Does anyone of the front runners come down pit lane? Not this time. Sort of browsing and perusing here. So Yumina Mizuno is going to have a lot of space to make up on those fresh Firestone tires. She's going to be rapid. I like the gamble. You kind of really need to take that gamble to try to make some inroads here. Mizuno 2 laps down, but we'll get both those laps back when the rest of the field comes down pit lane. He's got to find a way around 5 of the toughest cars to pass on the track. Easier said than done. How brave does Mizuno get? Rossi in pit lane now. You see Espinosa in as well. So the pit window very clearly open. Strangely enough, both Arrowhead cars and Chavez staying out as things run. I think the banking is that they're going to be stuck behind traffic enough that they'll be able to hold headway here. Still no budge from Keisha Fox. Chavez comes in. Kovanami gets passed by Mizuno after several laps of waiting. So Arrowhead Racing now 1-2 for the first time today. Fox in. This will allow Koivanami a chance to get that bonus point. So that's an extra point in the hand of the Finnish driver. As Kira Moore comes out the pit lane there, and Koivanami comes in this time. So orchestrated there just to kind of grab an extra point. And Koivanami comes back down pit lane. It gets a lot more interesting, doesn't it? Isabel Espinosa, does she re-inherit the race lead? Becomes the next very important question. That's Takarasi just behind. Keisha Fox in pit lane now will not be second place. I think the uncontrollable variable in all of that is just that these two came out in a pocket of clean air and were able to open the pace up a little bit. Now the question is, with Koivanami, does Koivanami have a chance of really just kind of hanging in there? Answer that question, going to be not really. Behind Chavez and battling with Jake Carter, and will be behind Jake Carter there. So it will not help Koivanami that much. More cars coming through pit lane now. Espinosa will regain the race lead otherwise. Espinosa right there behind Rena Amara. NASCAR on the lead lap. Lead, that's Amara and Flores, it is. So two of the Vesporia cars. There's the tail, they stay out longer. Flores got a couple laps led during that cycle. Looking about 55 laps to go here in Nazareth Speedway. Race leader Isabel Espinosa has very subtly relinquished the race lead. Now at 137 laps led right now. Nara Takarasi there pressuring in second. Keisha Fox in third is how things run at the moment. Just sort of browsing and perusing through the field here. Maria Chavez sitting in fourth place ahead of Jake Carter, Rachel Koivanemi. As things stand, it's a lot tighter at the top of the championship standings. We'll understand why here in a second. But Koivanemi sitting in the sixth spot right now as things sit. Natalia Kurachenko in seventh. Behind Koivanemi, then it's Maria Damata in eighth. Rashiseto lap traffic there ahead of teammate Yumina Mizuno, who is ninth place on lead lap. Karina Sakurauchi in 10th. And the reason why it's a little bit tighter at the top of the board, Aspasia Megalos from 27th all the way up to the 11th spot, battling with Sakurauchi and with Kira Moore just behind. So that conversation's a little bit tighter. So Moore in the 12th spot, Jace Clark in 13th, Katrina Ochoa sitting right now in the 14th spot. Then it is Katerina Milinkovic, Roberto Crown Jr. sitting in the 16th starting position, or 16th position at the moment so far. Isabel Lantra 17th, and then it's Yuya Ishii 18th. And then you have these two. Last car's on lead lap, 3 cars a lap down, Bolstrix, Blanco, and Seto. Seto's 3 laps down, Blanco, Bolstrix, each 1 lap down. two Fitzboia cars getting in the way just a little bit from Espinoza. It's not really hurting Espinoza any. Not a lot of pressure from Takarasi sitting behind at this moment. Fox in third. Fourth place, Maria Chavez still. Fox right now sitting in third, but he's set to stay there as things run at the moment. Jake Carter in fifth, ahead of Rachel Kobanami in sixth. As the racing rages on, coming to about 40 laps to go here in quick order. About 2 laps every 50 seconds, give or take. So, not a lot of racing left to go on the timesheets. And for Isabel Espinoza, despite the constant pressure, it has been pretty emphatic. Obviously, would have to wonder the question on if Felicia Zappa would have been able to see the race through, whether or not Espinoza could have been able to do anything, or if Felicia Zappa was on a different zip code altogether. But regardless, opportunity knocked, and Espinoza waltzed right in the door. 150 plus laps led. I think 152 is what we're coming up to right now for Espinoza. This is a much needed result for the Escuderia Ghia team. Obviously, Espinoza leading this race right now. Maria Chavez in fourth, just outside the podium places, but a really good haul of points there as well. Ochoa staying right there in the midfield, obviously not as fortunate as her teammates there, but solid battling there and a good solid haul of points as well for Ochoa. Hanging right there with Kira Moore, with Jace Clark, and with Milenkovic and Crown. Pretty decent company to be in there if you are Ochoa. Takarasi applying some pressure now to the 26, because it is time to get moving. Taking away, and it is a 2-horse race right now at the front of the field. Espinoza and Takarasi, and they have been toe-to-toe for a little bit. Takarasi peeks to the inside, nothing going there, But raising the alert level there for the 26 camp. Keisha Fox in third, in case something goes horribly wrong here. Could be right in the mix. Blanco just ahead of his teammate there, Jake Carter. Not a position battle. Blanco is 2 laps down right now, sitting in the 21st position. Carter in 5th, trying to hold off Rachel Koivanemi. It's a little bit harder for Megalos to make any inroads there on the 12 car of Karina Sakurauchi. Sakurauchi holding on the 10th spot. Megalos just outside the top 10, sitting in the 11th position. Remember, 9-point gap going into this race, so it was pretty close. Koivanemi in 6th scores 28 points to 19. Bonus point for Koivanemi, I believe the gap is 1 point going into Gateway in favor of the Finnish driver. Just doing mental math. I could be wrong on that. Math was never my strongest suit. I was always just kind of told to shut up and drive the car. But I believe, I would have to believe at this point that it's either tied or a 1 point difference going in to Gateway, going into St. Louis. Less than 30 laps to go. Trying everything she can to figure out a way around Espinoza here. Really good run right now by Takarasi, just trying to close in. You got to give yourself a chance to make a sudden lunge here when you're looking, especially at the race lead right now, because it takes so long to readjust and get momentum back in. If you do pull that off, you want to try to do it and try to ensure its success as much as possible here. Clark inside lane. Oh, and that's going to just about finish it off for Takarasi there. That was Clark coming out of pit lane at the worst possible time. Now it could be turned into a positive. It could very well be turned into a positive. If Clark can find a way around, find a way to open the door to get around Espinosa, could really be a positive there for Takarasi. But the clock is ticking, 20 laps to go. Seems more and more likely that Clark's not going to be able to do much to really combat against Espinosa at this point, so it's not going to help Takarasi at all. Takarasi kind of off the shelf at the moment, but Clark beginning to kind of apply pressure here, trying to unlap himself. He is 2 laps down, so he's not really getting back on the lead lap here. He's not kicking the bucket in any tangible way, but it would be a frustration for Espinosa, and really the last hope that Takarasi has right now. Keisha Fox sitting in 3rd. Arm distance between herself and Chavez. Carter, though, under the pressure of Chloe Vanemi, big time. Coming to 15 laps to go. Gretchenko in 7th has been steady all day. Same with Maria D'Amata. Even a Mizuno, really good climb. Back up to 9th. Karina Sakurauchi staying in 10th. Whoa! Is that problems for the 12? That might have been trouble for the 12. Wow, and that puts Megalos on the back foot. We'll lose a spot to Moore. We'll lose a spot to Ochoa. Nightmare situation there. It seemed like there was an issue with the 12 car of Sakurauchi. There's not. Still sitting 10th. But Megalos got bought out because Megalos was reacting to Sakurauchi, and now is down from 11 to 13. So that's not ideal. Meanwhile, Clark applying more pressure, hoping definitely taking it right now. Closing in. by Kurichenko on Koivanemi and Carter. Whether or not it'll amount to anything, we'll see. This is Blanco and Polsatrix, not for position, but Polsatrix goes through. Sakurauchi stays in 10th, Moore in 11th, Ochoa 12th, and that's going to be a huge dent for Megalos. What was keeping the battle really close in the points conversation has been distanced a little bit. Still manageable, obviously, with going the 9 races to go, but still not entirely ideal. Coming to 5 laps to go. So it's definitely not over. Sorry, 6 laps to go. My apologies. Laps to go. Look how close Keisha Fox has gotten in all of this too. Right there in 3rd. Rishawa's in 4th, not far away either. Laps are ticking away. 3 to go here in Nazareth for Isabel Espinoza, trying to hold on and grab a race win for the first time in several years. Sienna Takarasi, Keisha Fox sitting top 3 at the moment. 2 to go. Here's the white flag lap, 1 to go. Presented by PNC Bank, Isabel Espinoza looking for some magic. She's gonna break through here despite the pressure. All race long, Isabel Espinoza wins in Nazareth. She breaks her winless streak. It is Espinoza, Takarasi, and Keisha Fox, your top 3. Maria Chavez in 4th. Jake Carter in 4th. Rachel Koivanemi in 6th. Will take over the championship lead once more. Natalya Kurichenko 7th. Maria D'Amata 8th. Yumina Mizuno in 9th ahead of Karina Sakurauchi, Kira Moore, Katrina Ochoa, and Aspasia Megalos in 13th. We'll have some work to do in Gateway next time out. It's just 7 days away. Roberto Crown Jr. in 14th, and it's Isabel Lantra, Katarina Milenkovic, Yuya Ishii, Luisa Flores, and Karina Amara, the 19 cars on the lead lap. 4 cars off the lead lap, Jace Clark, Del Blanco, Amity Polsatrix, and Arashi Seto is how those 4 finish. And then 4 drivers that do not see the finish, all of them mechanically related. Asada Kito for a clutch failure. Sora Hoshino out for a damaged radiator. Felicia Zappa out for a failed gearbox. And Rex Riley out for an engine failure with a 10-place grid penalty awaiting the Canadian driver in St. Louis. That'll do it from us here in Nazareth. Part 2 of the doubleheader coming up here shortly from Michigan International Speedway, the Champ Car World Series Chevrolet 500. We hope to see you here on ABN very shortly for that race as well. For everyone here for the Firestone Champ Car Challenger Series, signing off from Nazareth. We'll see you next Saturday at Gateway. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you next time out. So long, everybody, and enjoy Michigan.